today we are here with another topic, that is apexogenesis and apexification. As this is a huge topic, we will be covering this topic into two parts. So in the first part today, we will be dealing with the apexogenesis. Looking at what is apexogenesis, okay? So the main goal of apexogenesis here is that we have to preserve the vital pulp tissue so that the root development can be continued with apical closure can also occur. So what does that exactly means is apexogenesis is the first thing you need to know, that it is a physiological process. Okay, it's a physiological process, and what exactly we do in this procedure is that when the pulp tissue, the radicular pulp tissue is completely safe, there is no infection or trauma in the radicular pulp tissue and only the coronal pulp tissue is being involved, then we go for apexogenesis. So the main goal is that we have to preserve the vital pulp tissue of the root. That is what we do in apexogenesis. The goal is to preserve the vital pulp tissue, especially of the root, so that the root development can occur and the apex can be closed, because in a young permanent tooth the apex is usually not closed. So we have to preserve this vital tissue here of root so that the apical closure can take place, and if there is any trauma, then that only has to be cured till the crown only. Moving ahead, there are three different procedures which we do in this apexogenesis, that is the indirect pulp capping, direct pulp capping, and the apical closure of the pulpotomy. So now the very important question here is that which procedure is to be taken in which consideration. Now when do you do indirect pulp capping? You usually do indirect pulp capping if the caries are very close to the pulp. They are very close to the pulp. For example, here somebody is having caries and the caries are till this point. Now you see it is very near to the pulp, but the pulp is not involved. The pulp is not getting in contact. So it is near to the pulp. In that cases, you will go for a indirect pulp capping, as the name itself suggests, indirectly connected to the pulp. Now the second case is the direct pulp capping. So you usually go for direct pulp capping in cases where the pulp chamber is exposed. So now, as in this case, you see the caries are finally getting in contact with the vital pulp. In that case, we will be going for a direct pulp capping. That means directly in contact with the pulp. The last one is the apical closure of pulpotomy. So apical closure of pulpotomy is usually done in cases where the coronal pulp tissue is inflamed. Okay, so till now what was the condition? That may be near to the pulp, maybe a little in contact with the pulp, but now in the last pulpotomy case, we do pulpotomy when the coronal pulp here is being inflamed or there is any kind of infection in the larger amount of pulp. In that cases, we are going for a apical closure pulpotomy. Coming to the first one, that is the indirect pulp capping. So what is the definition? As I just told you, it is a procedure where a small amount of affected dentine is retained, and usually we do this in deep caries. So here in this case you can see the caries are very deep, just not in contact with the pulp but very much near to the pulp. So in that case we will be going for a indirect pulp capping. And here in this condition what we do is the little retained infected dentine is removed but the pulp is not exposed. So our main aim of this treatment is, of this whole procedure is that we have to remove the bulk of the lesion. That means all the caries which were here which were there in the teeth is to be removed without exposing the pulp. We have to protect the pulp. Okay, now what is the technique? How do we do this? Firstly, isolate the patient's tooth which is to be treated with a rubber dam. Then you can just use a high-speed handpiece to cavity out the lines. So to make a cavity you can use a high-speed handpiece, but then with a low-speed handpiece you have to remove all the infected and necrotic dentine. All the infected dentine, because the infected dentine is very soft, and if you will go with a high-speed handpiece, so you may hit the pulp tissue or maybe you can expose the pulp area. So you have to use a low-speed handpiece and remove all the infected necrosed dentine. After you have removed the dentine, a very firm layer of the dentine should be left just as a protection so that the pulp is not involved, and then you are going to do the saline irrigation. After you have done the saline irrigation, what you will do is you will apply a lining of a calcium hydroxide application. Okay, calcium hydroxide will be applied as a layer, and after that you will give any temporary filling of your choice to the patient. You will recall the patient after 6 to 8 weeks. After you have given the temporary restoration or temporary filling, call your patient after 6 to 8 weeks, and if the patient is asymptomatic as in there is no swelling, no pain, then you can go for a final restoration with any restoration material of your choice, and GIC is usually preferred. Now what are the indications? It is usually indicated in a vital young permanent teeth. Why? Because only a vital young permanent teeth is the one which is going to be very, very healthy. Otherwise, in rest all the cases, the radicular pulp can also be affected. In a mature teeth, always the radicular pulp inflammation chances are very high. So we usually go for this treatment in a young permanent teeth with large caries approximating the pulp. That means reaching very much near to a pulp. We can also do this in deep asymptomatic lesions which are close to the pulp and the rampant caries. Where is this treatment contraindicated? If you have pain, if the patient is having swelling, any fistula, tenderness to percussion, any mobility, external or internal root resorption, or maybe any kind of pulp calcifications. Coming to the second procedure of the apexogenesis, that is the direct pulp capping. Now direct pulp capping, as I just told you, the direct pulp capping is a treatment in which the pulp is being exposed and we are directly treating the exposed pulp. So it is defined as placement of medicament or a non-medicated material on the pulp itself, because at the time of our procedure the pulp is being exposed. Coming to the aim, just told you, to ensure that the pulp can remain healthy and the exposed pulp is being capped. What are the indications? In which teeth can you use this treatment? In mechanical exposures of less than 1 mm square, surrounded by clean dentine, and just if a little of the pulp, coronal pulp is being exposed, there you can use this. Then minimal pulp inflammation. Where are the contraindications? If there is any kind of hemorrhage, for example, if you are putting a wet saline on the site of inflammation but no hemostasis is occurring, in that condition, no hemostasis occurring as in the bleeding is being continued. So in that cases you cannot do this. It is contraindicated in such cases. If there is any pus or exudate at the site of exposure, then the treatment is contraindicated. And for example, if you have by mistakenly the bar or the probe, anything which you are using is being instrument have been pushed into the pulp tissue. So in that conditions also you cannot do this treatment, because whenever by mistakenly you impinge your pulp tissue, there are chances that the pulp tissue is being injured. Now what is the technique? Again, as earlier, we are going to do the isolation with the rubber dam. After that, what we will do is, after exposure, further manipulation should be avoided. After you have exposed the site, no further manipulation should be done. The first thing which we have to do is to irrigate with a saline. Now why is it important to irrigate with a saline or distilled water? Because as the pulp is being exposed, there will be blood oozing out at the site. Whenever your pulp is exposed, the cavity is filled with blood. So it is very important to clean that blood. After that, hemorrhage should be arrested. That is, the bleeding should be arrested. How are you going to control the bleeding? You will take a sterile cotton dipped in saline, and you will just put that saline cotton on the site of blood. So after few seconds you will see that the flowing blood will be stopped and you have attained the hemostasis. Now after that you will be applying calcium hydroxide layer over the exposed pulp after you have attained the hemostasis. If the bleeding is still occurred, do not go for calcium hydroxide. First stop the bleeding. After that you can apply any cement base and the final restoration can be given. Now as you can see in the picture itself here in the figure, the A part, can you just see the A region? This one is basically your capping, which is made up of pulp exposure. So this was a site of pulp exposure and we did a protective capping material at this particular site. After that we have at the B side we have applied a base over that, and base is usually of the zinc oxide eugenol cement. And the C part here, the widest part, is your restoration. Now restoration can be anything, whether it is amalgam or whether it is composite. Coming to pulpotomy, the last part, it's a lengthy video I understand, but this is the last part, pulpotomy. As I just told you, pulpotomy is done when crown, or when you say the coronal pulp is being inflamed, when there is any kind of infection in a pulp of the crown region. In that case we do pulpotomy. Now what it is, it basically involves removing the pulp tissue. Now we are completely removing the pulp tissue from the site because of any kind of inflammatory or degenerative changes which are occurring. Till now what we did in the indirect one, that no pulp was exposed, so simply a material was applied to protect. For further protection we applied it. In direct pulp capping what we did was, a little of the pulp was exposed, but without touching the pulp even more, we just applied a protective layer to close that site of exposure. The last thing is pulpotomy. In pulpotomy we have to remove the pulp which has been infected. Now the depth of the removal is to be decided by you. You have to check how much of the pulp is being inflamed, and then you have to remove the pulp according to your judgment. All inflamed tissue should be removed, and we should place a dressing on a unhealthy inflamed pulp tissue. Okay, so after you have removed the pulp completely, there will be bleeding definitely, so then you have to place a dressing on the site of action where you did your procedure. So you see a cotton here is being placed here on the on the area where you remove the pulp. So you have to place a cotton here. After that, you see what are the indications which we are supposed to, where is it indicated? In young vital permanent teeth, no symptoms of irreversible pulpitis. If you see symptom of irreversible pulpitis, that means that the radicular pulp, that is the root pulp, is also involved, and so you have to go for a RCT. Other than that, there should be no periapical radiolucency, absence of sinus or tooth mobility should be there. Contraindicated in usually mature tooth, because whenever the mature teeth is involved, there will be involvement of the root pulp also. So it is contraindicated in a mature teeth. There should be symptoms of irreversible pulpitis should be contraindicated. Periapical radiolucency should be contraindicated, and if the crown is very much fractured severely, then you have to contraindicate this, and you will go for extraction in this case. Now you see, this was the basic technique. Till now what we were doing, that either in the indirect pulp capping we were just giving a thin layer at an unexposed site, then in the direct pulp capping we were directly lining the pulp. But here in this case you see the whole pulp is being removed, and now the whole site is being treated by the filling material. So the complete crown pulp is being removed in this case. That is the pulpotomy. It can be of two types further. Either it can be partial or complete. Partial means that you are removing the pulp chamber or the pulp partially, not the complete pulp is removed. Now who is going to decide it? You as a dentist, you as a clinician are going to decide this, that how much pulp is to be removed. So partial refers for the management of vital pulp exposure on young permanent molars due to caries or any kind of trauma. So it is usually done when you check that there is no sensitivity, swelling or mobility, then you can go for this. Now the indications are that the trauma exposure should be less than 72 hours if you need to go for pulpotomy. Contraindicated in treatment which are where the trauma is more than 72 hours old, or when the caries are involving deeper layer of pulp. In this case there are chances that the root pulp is also involved, and then you have to check for the RCT. Now coming to cervical pulpotomy, which means complete or full pulpotomy, as the name suggests, you will be removing whole of the pulp in this case. It involves removal of entire coronal pulp till the root orifices. If I show you with a diagram, this was your crown region and this is your root region. So, and this is your pulp chamber. When you are just removing the crown pulp, okay, and the root pulp is not being touched, only till the root orifices, that is the root opening, you are removing the pulp, and all the radicular pulp is being saved, that is said to be the cervical pulpotomy. Where is it indicated? It is usually indicated in caries exposure involving deeper layer of coronal pulp and any traumatic exposure after 72 hours. Contraindicated in mature tooth. So in the picture itself you can see that this is a case of pulpotomy. What we have done here, A is your vital pulp. Vital pulp means the healthy pulp. Now B here is your calcium hydroxide layer which we have given. So that is a protective layer to protect the radicular pulp. We have given the calcium hydroxide. C here is going to be zinc oxide eugenol cement base which we have, ZOE base which we have applied, so that the tooth can be completely saved. The last part is D, which is going to be your final restoration. Now this can be either amalgam or composite. So this was your restoration, or you can say pulpotomy procedure. You see here the whole of the pulp is being removed, and directly we are saving the root pulp. So this is known as pulpotomy. So just giving a quick revision, there were 3 techniques which we studied in apexogenesis, that is indirect pulp capping, direct pulp capping, and the apical closure of pulpotomy. If this video was helpful to you, please share this with your friends, subscribe to my channel, and like the video. Thank you so much.